Hello, this is Matt Bergman, and you are listening to the Punk Rock Libertarians podcast, episode 49.
No.
What is it?
I think it's episode 50, isn't it?
Episode 50?
Oh, wow.
Okay, wow. That's so huge. The big 5-0.
Big motherfucking 5-0.
Man,
Yeah,
historic podcast.
I'm here tonight with none other than my main man, Jared Schneiderman.
What's up, dude?
Yeah, dude. And Alexis Schlegel.
What's going on?
Alexis, did you bring the documents tonight? That's what everybody wants to know.
I got a few documents.
Okay,
A few
sweet.
docs.
A few docs.
Yep.
Cool. So, Jared, you wanted to open up with Austin Peterson?
Well, you know, I don't know that we talk enough shit on Austin Peterson.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the more time goes on, the more I grow to dislike him, even more than I thought I could.
Dude, I gotta say, I got pretty concerned there when you said that you don't know if we talk enough shit on Austin Peterson.
You got concerned why?
Because I feel like I talk enough shit on Austin Peterson.
You think
I feel
it's
like
inadequate about?
because I just totally dislike the guy. Like, he just comes off as like a douche. He comes off as like somebody from like the bro rape video.
Yeah.
You know, like he's constantly trying to lure bros into his dorm to play GameCube and drink Natty Ice and rape them with big black dildos.
Right.
Like, I feel like that's Austin Peterson.
Yeah. That is the vibe I get as well. So, did you guys catch the video of it was like some kind of like online LP debate?
Yeah, I caught that.
It was a Skype debate.
I guess that was the second one.
Skype debate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, the main thing that got me regarding him was, drug legalization came up, as it typically does in, good debates, worthwhile debates. And, Gary Johnson was talking about how he runs a marijuana company, or was running a marijuana company. John McAfee talked about how he was an ex-heroin addict who, is still for the legalization of drugs. And then it came to Austin Peterson, and he was like, he said something along the lines of, well, we've got a former drug dealer and a current drug dealer running for president here, and, no one's going to vote for them. So he basically insinuating that Gary Johnson is a drug dealer.
Yeah, like,
And then somehow McAfee is an ex-drug dealer because he was a heroin addict. That doesn't make any sense either. But yeah, I mean, it just pissed me off so much.
Yeah, I think it's funny because it's, nobody else is going after him like that,
Right.
And like, I'm awaiting the first person to go after Austin, the same way. Maybe they feel as though they're above it, and I feel like those guys, because when we had Gary on the show, I mentioned
we tried to get him to talk shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, I mentioned John McAfee, because I think the guy's a few screws loose, but I also think he's entertaining as hell.
Yeah.
And dude, I'd vote for him for the same reason I'd vote for Vermin Supreme. It would be funny, I think. And
yeah, but I mean, even he's more. I mean, I don't know if it's even fair to compare him to Vermin, because I mean, he does say a lot of interesting, and it makes a lot of interesting things and makes a lot of good points, especially when it comes to cybersecurity stuff.
I meant in that he's pretty fucking hilarious.
Yeah, no,
sure. Like, I meant in that way. I think his heart's in the right place, but I think he's kind of comes off as a few screws loose, but I like the dude. I'd probably have a lot of fun hanging out with him.
Yeah.
I think he's definitely cooler than Donald Trump or Hillary or Bernie.
Yeah, sure.
So, and then with Peterson, though, of course, I think he's a total douche, and like I don't see where he gets off insulting Gary Johnson like that.
Yeah, it's really totally uncalled for.
Yeah, I mean, I think Gary Johnson's done only good things for the LP. Because he was able to come in and in 2012, and he participated in 2 of the Republican debates. So I feel like he definitely gained a lot of libertarian notoriety there. Yeah. Because those debates were awesome because Ron Paul wasn't the only crazy guy on the stage.
What I don't understand are like the people that say like Gary Johnson is like sloth, like, you know, or like lacks energy.
When
he came on our podcast, like immediately, like as soon as we kicked off, he was like, just got all excited and was talking about how he just got back from CPAC. And I mean, I'm sure he like kind of planned to talk about that ahead of time, but like he had a shit ton of energy. I don't know where this is coming from. I think it's just fucking manufactured bullshit from the Austin Petersonites, the Austin Peters.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't get it. I don't get why so many people like the guy, and I feel like a lot of people. It seems for all the people that are excited about him, you know, you can find just as many, if not more, people that think he's a douche.
Right.
You know, so he kind of excites people both ways. You know, myself included. You know, so myself included. You know, because I mean, I just
Also,
hear the guy.
Peterson excites you, man.
Well, I just hear the guy speak, and I'm just like, what a douche. You know, I mean, the guy just doesn't seem like a nice person.
No.
He's total bro, dude.
In fact, I would almost argue that he's hurting the party by even being a part of it, or trying to be a part of it.
Well, maybe, but there are some people that he appeals to. So, you know, because honestly, you know, no matter what my thoughts are about Austin Peterson, if he can bring another person towards these ideas, you know, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, if he's bringing somebody new that nobody else was going to bring, fine, you know. And you know,
I just don't see what his demographics are.
And you know, I could also say the same thing about Alex Jones. You know, I could say the same thing about Chris Cantwell. You know,
right.
So you know, while they're not my favorite people, you know, if anybody's going to be able to bring more people over to this conversation, you know, if anybody's going to bring some dissent, you know, and help grow the movement, I think that's pretty awesome. You know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, you know, we maybe we shouldn't be quite so hard. Never mind. We should probably be hard on the guy. So, you know, but at the same time, you know, could he be hurting it? You know, could somebody who's not familiar with the ideas
that's what I'm saying. Like, if he's going to behave like that, you know, how many people are seeing that and saying, "Oh, this is no different than the mudslinging that goes on in the Democratic Party." Like, why would I want to even be a part of that? You know, if they're coming in from the vantage point of, like, the Libertarian Party.
Yeah.
And not... Because, I mean, he's not bringing people in by exposing them to the nap because he doesn't believe in it.
Yeah, in all fairness, he ain't got time for the nap.
Okay.
He just doesn't, dude.
Okay.
So...
Yeah, so did you guys hear about the Trump rally that got canceled? Allegedly because of a security threat from some Bernie bros.
Yeah, dude.
The one in Chicago, the one that was shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that. I saw like a lot of the videos of mainly the crowd. There was also one in St. Louis too, because I guess they canceled one in Chicago, and then he went on to St. Louis, and I was watching some videos, and it's just really, really disheartening just seeing like.
So.
Yeah, go ahead.
So from the videos, could you tell whether it was like the Trump supporters or the Bernie supporters?
It was like a combination of both, just like instigation on both sides, but it was just like pure ignorance. Like, and then just a lot of there were a lot of short videos, but just the cops arresting like a lot of the protesters. Couldn't really tell, you know. You just see, you know, a bunch of gang members, the police, like surrounding someone and taking them down, and then police asking people to get back. But it was just like a lot of mudslinging, just a lot of, you know, people with signs calling Trump a racist and this and that, and then a bunch of hillbilly, you know, Trump supporters kind of mouthing back, and it was just so.
Do you think
pathetic.
They're infringing on Trump's First Amendment rights?
How so? Like
just, you know, by causing enough of a disruption where he can't.
Wasn't there actually some violence there, though?
Yeah, I think there was.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was. I mean, yeah. I mean, well, my whole thing with it is, you know, I first heard about it from like a leftist dude, and it was like he thought it was the coolest thing ever. And then when I first heard about it, I'm thinking like, you know, because I'm thinking, well, you know, this is kind of dumb because like if the intent is to, you know, put Trump in his place or whatever, I mean,
it seems like when you have violence happening, immediately, people are gonna like sympathize for Trump.
Yeah. Oh, it was a huge win.
They're gonna
him.
sympathize for his cause.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was talking to somebody about it earlier, actually, and they told me that they thought like Trump might have even staged the whole thing.
I mean, it definitely helped him.
But yeah, so I don't know. Maybe that's pretty crazy, but I mean, who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But
when you think about all the money that goes on, like didn't Jeb Bush spend like $2,000 a vote someplace or something?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when you think about all the money that's spent, and Trump has a lot of money, would it be impossible for him to do this with actors? I don't know.
Like hire a bunch of provocateurs,
Yeah.
like some world wrestling, like.
Yeah, but I mean,
like scripted world wrestling type.
But I mean, if he actually did that and it ever got traced back to him, that could be
amazing.
It would be amazing, but it would also fuck him over pretty hard.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it'd be hard for him to get out of that.
Okay. It probably didn't happen, but I mean, okay. But think about that though. The whole point of this whole discussion is basically like, wow, this is going to really help him a lot.
Yeah.
So, if somebody was really trying to go after Trump and his campaign, they just aided them.
Yeah, apparently it's like it's what it sounds like. The protesters are a combination of Bernie supporters, Black Lives Matter. They might not even be affiliated. They could have just been like, hey, we're just showing up. So.
Or they were just anti-Trump for whatever reason.
Yeah, for a variety of reasons. But then I just was scrolling through my news feed and I saw I didn't have 18 minutes of my life to waste on it, but Alex Jones apparently just posted a video that it was funded. He's got the documents that Hillary funded it. Funded the protesters.
I'm sure.
Yeah, he's got the documents.
So it wasn't Bernie, it was Hillary.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Right? Because then you could you're slinging mud on both.
Do you think Alex Jones likes Bernie?
No.
He doesn't?
Not at all.
Okay.
And I would say, like, he was kind of on Alex Jones was kind of on Trump's dick for a little bit.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, and he was kind of a little bit. Like, remember he did that interview and, Alex Jones didn't even call him out about his stance on immigration he didn't call him out on anything that was like, it was like the most, like, just, like he didn't call him out at all. It was like almost,
it was like softball.
Softball questions.
Yeah.
Like kind of like really, and to the point where it's like, dude, Alex Jones, you're supporting Trump? Like really? This is pathetic. Like, It's so, but but speaking of Trump's, like Jared, you were talking about Stefan Molyneux, right?
Yeah, dude, he's just a Trump dick rider now.
Yeah, but okay, man, Cantwell, right?
So he came out with a video called "The Untruth" about Donald Trump, which is a playoff of his series, The Truth About Whatever. And not only did he come out with this video, but he created a separate domain for it. The domain is, I think it's untruthaboutdonaldtrump.com. So he's really, really trying to go to bat for Trump.
So you saw some of the videos, didn't you? Or was that you, Matt, that you saw?
I mean, I haven't watched any of them, but...
I saw that it was posted, and from time to time I'll aggregate some of Molyneux's stuff for the website.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, it was probably at least half of it. I find to be very entertaining, and then some of it I might not interest me at all, so I might not listen. And then some of it it's just like, wow, this is pretty fucking stupid. And I mean, that's with the whole Trump defending thing. I feel like that's pretty fucking stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be one thing if you wanted to actually just objectively analyze them, and maybe, point out that, I mean, when it comes to foreign policy, he's pretty awesome.
Well, I mean, so he says. I mean, but I don't trust the word that he says. So,
sure,
I mean, I don't know if he's gonna do like he says. A lot of times politicians don't, but I mean, is he talking better than the other candidates on foreign policy? I would say yes.
Yeah, although I was looking at Bernie Sanders, and he...
Well,
I know
he
people are
talks
saying
well
that
on it,
voted,
but he votes to fund all the wars.
But he only voted to fund, I think, one funding bill he voted yay on, and from what I read, it was sort of ham-handed into another bill for like some other socialist policies.
Actually, I mean, everything that I've read about the dude, everything I've read about the dude, he's voted to fund everything. The only time and I've also read the only time he actually voted to not go to a war was the first Iraq. That's like his big thing that he can claim. But as far as funding wars, he's just as bad as Hillary. And the only word...
I mean, I read through like on the issues.com.
Real Mother Jones, dude?
What?
No.
No, it was like, on the issues.
I was just joshing.
I don't know. Either way. Going back to my point. I mean, look, if you wanted to like say, okay, here are some things Donald Trump's saying that makes sense, okay, fine. But to just completely come out in support of the guy after just all the other ridiculous shit he's saying, and even from like an anarchistic perspective, like, I mean, you talk about Stefan Molyneux, who's supposedly, an anarchist, attacked Ron Paul when he was running, and now he's going to go to bat for Trump. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking about Ron Paul, who's basically almost a pure anarchist,
Yeah.
and then you're talking about Trump, who's not even close. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. It sounds pretty insane.
I'm trying to figure it out. Like, is he just trying to...
I'm wondering...
Is he trying to just grab Trump supporters again and listen to his podcast?
Maybe, which, if that's going to bring more people into the ideas, ultimately that could work out for the better. But I think at the same time, you're going to have other people see his podcast and think Trump, the guy's a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Basically, I guess the same thing we were arguing about Peterson,
Yeah, I mean, like, how do you make that calculus? Like,
it is kind of scary to think that, both Austin Peterson and Stefan Molyneux, and actually, and Chris Cantwell are just attracting all these assholes to the movement.
Yeah.
And then,
See, that's why we need more people like Jeffrey Tucker and Tom Woods and us.
I don't know, like, Tom Woods, who I love, it seems like even him and Lou Rockwell are pretty Trump-friendly.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think maybe they look at it objectively.
I wouldn't say they're riding his dick like Molyneux, but I don't know.
I think basically, and I've listened to a couple of Lou Rockwell and Tom Woods' like analysis on the debate, and I mean, listening to the few I've tuned into, I wouldn't say they're in support at all of Trump, but I think they like the way that it's creating such political discourse and just completely just
political chaos.
Yeah, just kind of like disrupting the quote unquote establishment and just the media circus. I think maybe that's kind of what they're just looking at it from that perspective. But yeah, you're right. It does kind of maybe come off like they're kind of slightly supporting, but I wouldn't say that. I'd say it's more or less just kind of just bringing an end to the or just, I don't know, just if this could further the end of the political system or the two-party stranglehold, or just if this could, that's kind of where their perspective.
Like, see, I can understand supporting Trump from like the perspective of, he is just, if he gets elected, it's just going to be so bad for the government that it's just going to be so awesome, Like, I think Jeffrey Tucker wrote an article where he was basically like, if Trump gets elected, you basically have a name that you can attach to the idea of government. Yeah. Like, the name Trump becomes associated with government, and so any hatred towards Trump, by extension, or by the transitive property, becomes hatred toward the government. Which, I think that is a possibility. Or it could just be like, the way people felt about Bush, where it's just like, we just need to get him out and get a Democrat in, So it could backfire.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it always just seems that way. It's always like, whoever the president is, unless things are going really well, it's always like, we need to get this fucking Democrat out here and get a Republican in, or we need to get this fucking Republican out and get a Democrat in, And we're just going on this fucking I don't know, roller coaster, turnstile, whatever.
Yeah, just status quo.
Yeah. But we're tricked into thinking that,
there's like this vast difference between the two.
Right. So,
or such a difference in policy or difference in, but everything else still continues. Anyway, what else we got?
All right, so the senior vice president at Apple, or one of them, or the one, I don't know. There's multiple, but regardless, came out saying that it's possible that the FBI could make them turn on cameras and microphones in the iPhone.
Yeah, so basically what he's saying is that if Apple loses, the current battle to, open a back door, where will it go next? Will they be able to make us turn on the cameras and microphones in your phones?
Right.
So, I think it's badass that they're, taking a stance about this. So.
Yeah. And it kind of makes you think, like, why? I mean, are they that principled that are they that concerned for the American public, or is it a PR move? Are they really good people? You know what I mean? Like,
well, like, first and foremost,
I'm not saying like all CEOs are evil people.
I mean, well, right now, they managed to build a phone where, like, a lot of the selling point is, the whole encryption of it all and the privacy and stuff.
Yeah.
So, like all the years in R&D and everything into making that system, if they create a backdoor for the government, they create a backdoor that, terrorists and hackers and like all sorts of people could, hack into,
Right.
And, it's just basically a Pandora's box of shit, and it's scary to think that the people like in power are that dumb to ask Apple to make a backdoor, because it's that's another cool thing about John McAfee, how he brings all this to everybody's attention,
Yeah, it's one issue that he's very strong on. I saw that interview where he was just talking about that, like, whereas when it comes to cybersecurity, where those in the Pentagon or the DoD or those that working for the government that are in cybersecurity, they're like 20, 25 years behind, and it's mainly just because of their recruiting. He was just explaining, like, because they drug test, they're not hiring the best in the brains. Yeah, basically, or the fact that you
have to go through like
criminal background checks, etc. And being the fact that I was in the Air Force for 8 years, and so I have some friends that you go through some of these like background checks or security like to get security clearances.
Yeah.
If you had like one discretion in your life, or anything, like depending on what level of clearance, you automatically are unqualified. So you're basically, like they're behind. They're so behind. They have no concept of this, and that's one thing that I like about McAfee is bringing these issues to light.
Yeah, dude, I would love to see McAfee go as Johnson's VP.
That would be awesome.
Would be pretty.
Dude, this is kind of slightly off topic though, but what if Trump picked Gary Johnson to be his VP?
That I don't know.
What would you do? Would you vote for him? Well, there's multiple questions that could be asked about this. Would Johnson accept? Number one.
Accept?
And number two, would you vote for him if he did?
No.
No?
No.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, who knows?
Dude, I mean, if Trump picked Ron Paul to be his VP, who I have more respect for than any other libertarian alive,
even Alexis?
Well, maybe not Alexis. But that's like, why would it? Didn't Trump just come out recently saying that he would support,
reinstating torture, expanding on torture.
Well, yeah, he wants to expand on torture, but next time the Patriot Act comes up for renewal, he's down to like renew it.
Oh, he said that.
Yeah. So I mean,
I don't think anybody would accept if Trump would offer. I don't think anybody.
Anybody?
Dude,
someone
Austin Peterson
will,
might, dude.
But I'm just
Austin
saying,
Peterson
like,
might, dude.
Yeah,
dude. Leaf Beaverson would be all in that shit, dude.
What did you say, Leaf Beaverson?
Leaf Beaverson, dude. That's like one of his nicknames. He also calls himself the Freedom Ninja, I believe.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
You can't just make up your own nicknames.
Well, you can when you're Austin Peterson, dude.
You can't.
It's fucking magic, dude.
Names.
Isn't one of his nicknames Awesome Peterson as well?
I don't. Maybe that's what you call him, dude.
I don't know. I think I saw that somewhere. Maybe it was in my dreams.
Yeah, dude. It's the cult of personality of Austin Peterson.
that he's so desperately trying to manufacture.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so the Pentagon has admitted to using domestic drones to spy on U.S. citizens, though rarely, according to them. Not
posted it last. Was it last week? Posted the article.
I think so.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
Well, yeah, they say rarely, but and then once this came out, I guess basically it was under a Freedom of Information Act request. So a Pentagon Inspector General made public a report. This was last week, admitting to the use of drones to spy on U.S. citizens. So, but the missions were non-military in nature, meaning they were used for domestic spying purposes. So the Pentagon is claiming it broke no laws in the deployment of said drones and contends that the flights were rare. So, but yeah, basically, so then the Pentagon changed their policy, I guess. This is according to US Today. So shortly before the Inspector General report was completed a year ago, the Pentagon issued a new policy governing the use of spy drones. It requires that the Defense Secretary to approve all domestic spy drone operations. And it says that unless permitted by law and approved by the Secretary, drones may not conduct surveillance on U.S. persons. So it also bans the use of armed drones over the United States for anything other than training and testing. So, other than training and testing. So they're still flying, they could still fly, and, you know, they could just, Secretary of Defense or the Pentagon could just say, like, oh, it was a training mission, you know, quote, training mission, but...
So, if they...
As long as they dub it a training mission, it's legal. So,
yeah,
you know, it's still happening.
So then, but the non-armed drones, they can be used if there's like essentially like a warrant, right? A high-level warrant issued by the Department of Defense,
or they could just say it was a training mission. They could still fly. The drones can still fly,
right?
But armed. But only on training missions.
Gotcha.
So
it's convenient.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. Just a matter of when the whole Skynet goes down. It's a matter of time.
It's gonna get real interesting with the proliferation of drones, like both the government drones and like consumer drones, because like they're getting more, like everything else, they get more cost effective, or what's the word? They're getting cheaper.
Yeah.
You know, or less cost prohibitive. And, I mean, it's going to be crazy one day there's just a bunch of fucking drones like flying around the sky. And they're like running into each other, like crashing into people's houses and shit.
It's like Amazon was looking into delivery via drones.
Oh, yeah, dude, that's fucking awesome. Yeah. I can definitely see that happening.
I just was listening to the radio the other day, and I guess through like the Baltimore, DC area, like I guess around like DC, Baltimore, like metro area, they kind of like reduced like the no fly zone. Like they reduced the no fly zone of drones, like because I guess I don't know. I guess it was very highly restricted and like because there's so many airports around here and like military bases. But I guess they, I don't know, like restricted the amount. So more and more, like you said, like average Joes are like, and the technology.
Yeah.
So, like, cause I guess there's
now
like,
they do have licensing implemented now, though.
Yeah, but there's like a lot of like clubs and like clubs of like people that get together and like fly drones.
That's weird.
Yeah. But anyway. Yeah. So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting in years to come.
Yeah. So, in other news, Newt Gingrich was on. I think it was like Fox News.
It was on the O'Reilly Factor.
On the O'Reilly Factor.
The no spin zone.
The no spin zone. And he was, and he made the claim that the GOP hates Trump because he doesn't belong to a secret society. Now, I'm not sure if he said this, like tongue in cheek, or if he literally meant like the Freemasons or whatever. But I don't know. It's kind of interesting to hear that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I wonder what like Like, what does he
That got
consider?
too high.
What is? I wonder what he considers like secret societies, though. Like, I mean, like the Freemasons, they seem like pretty. Then you got like Bohemian Grove, or like what Skull and Bones, or it's like. I mean, it's pretty much out there, but like Council on Foreign Relations, is that considered? I mean, it's not really a secret society. It's out there.
Was the Council on Foreign Relations, is that a government entity?
No, because it is. I guess it's. Is it a nonprofit? I don't know, but I mean, like, there's definitely, definitely like that's one like litmus test of people running for office. Like, you know, mainly like all neocons are members of the CFR, Council on Foreign Relations.
Really,
I mean, pretty much like it. I like when it comes to foreign policy, most like neocons that aspire to that philosophy are typically members of the CFR. So, but. I mean, I don't know. Is that considered? I mean, it's not really a secret society, but yeah, like.
Well, I'm a member of a secret society. Like,
oh yeah,
I'm a member of a fraternity.
Really?
Yeah, like a college fraternity.
Ah, what? Yeah, I mean.
But then I also know people that are like Freemasons. I mean.
You in a fraternity, bro?
Yeah, bro.
Really?
Yeah, music fraternity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, just because something's a secret society doesn't mean it's necessarily nefarious.
Yeah.
You know, it's just with any secret society, it's easy to speculate on what the fuck they're doing behind doors because it's a secret society. You know, and then it's easy to extrapolate that they're like pulling the strings in the New World Order and all this shit. You know, when in fact it's like there's really no evidence of a lot of that.
Or what's the other one? They meet once a year.
Bilderberg.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, and like obviously there's got to be shit going on at those meetings that is somewhat nefarious because I mean you do have like a bunch of like the richest, most influential people just happen to get together. Like I'm sure they're not just like sitting around drinking cocktails and just shooting the shit. I mean, they're obviously planning stuff. It might not all be nefarious. Maybe they're doing some good shit. Maybe they're like, oh, we need to like put some more resources into this charity or some shit.
Yeah.
Who knows? But
build schools for children that don't read well.
Isn't that from fucking Zoolander?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I've often wondered about that, because a number of the founders were, Freemasons.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fucking people were Freemasons.
Yeah.
And then, people talk about like, you hear all the time, oh, these groups are evil, blah, blah, blah. And then, you think, well, what if somebody, say, good joined one of these groups because it was a good place to... You know what I mean? To advance anything, you could have good people or bad people in there. Using that group.
Sure.
I guess you could say the same thing about government.
Yeah, but I would say government tends to attract the worst people.
And
whereas like something like the Freemasons,
the same also could be true about the Freemasons. Because I mean, what is government? Freemason power? I mean, isn't it all power?
No, I mean, like, the Freemasons, I mean, it's like a Christian organization, and I think they do, I mean, not that that makes it good or bad, but they do, I mean, I think they do a lot of charity stuff.
Don't they do, like, human sacrifice?
See, I don't think it's the same thing as, like, the government. I mean, yeah, do you get connections by being a Freemason? Probably, but...
Yeah, dude, you get all the Freemason
It's
connects.
not like where, like, it's not where it's the government where, like, they have an army and they have a police force they can use to
well, I mean, maybe they
people.
do if they have high ups in the army and in the police force.
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think ultimately it's just people networking or whatever.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is.
Yeah.
So influential people.
Yeah. I see. I think it's probably not as dastardly as some would claim, but it's probably not as innocent as others would claim. I'm sure there's some shady shit that goes on back there.
Sure.
Whereas
it could be like innocent, like a chamber of commerce meeting or something, like just networking, getting together. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Maybe we should get a Freemason on.
Yeah. Tell us from the inside. Tell us what it's about.
Yeah, totally. Like, you know, because I remember a while back somebody was showed me some videos where they were claiming like Ron Paul was a Freemason. And
I think he was. I think he is.
Yeah, apparently he was doing like some like Freemason handshakes or something. I don't know.
I love those videos where it's like Trump's, or not Trump, Obama's doing some kind of like wave that looks like a Satanist like salute or something like that. Like, I love those videos where they have those, and it's just like they find these like super grainy like side vantage points of it, and then like start like drawing circles around it, and like make all these crazy compilations of shit.
Yeah.
Was it they're part of the Illuminati?
Yeah, the Illuminati. You know, I don't know. It's all entertaining, but I don't think there's any real basis to most of it. So, moving on. Do you guys want to talk about El Chapo's daughter? I think you know a little more about that story than I do, Matt.
Yeah. So apparently, she said this week in an interview that you know, basically El Chapo was like funding politicians, you know, and apparently the politicians went back on their deal. And then also apparently the first time when that was nice. Yes. So the first time, like when he broke out, apparently, like that was the government letting him do that.
Oh yeah, I definitely believe that, dude. I mean, how the fuck does a guy orchestrate that whole escape without the help of someone in the government?
Yeah.
And I mean, that government is super corrupt as it is. I mean,
I don't know, dude. This sounds like a conspiracy, dude. Do they have Freemasons in Mexico?
I don't know, but you know, when they murdered like 27 students. I think it was, or was it 207, something like that. I don't know. That's pretty corrupt.
Yeah.
And you know they're in bed with every cartel there, but we only help that because you know of the war on drugs.
Of course.
El Chapo doesn't exist without the war on drugs. You know, he finds his way maybe into a corporation, maybe ends up like Enron, but that's about the worst a guy like that does if you don't have the war on drugs.
Yep.
So. I think that's about it for this week.
Cool. Yeah. So until next time, live free.
Statism split free is the blood that is shed. Drenching the flags of the tax bombs in red. Was its way of few at the expense of the many. Sold to the gods in a death machine. You can't justify killing by economic gain. For God, country, and democracy. You can put freedom at gunpoint in a foreign land. You support the troops, then bring them home. I believe that you will do the best for you. And I believe that we have the power, have the power. I hate the state, and I know I'm a slave. We can make the break the power, break the power. Society owes individuals nothing more than non-interference with natural rights. When some virtuous person fully comprehends the non-aggression principle, the violence of the state becomes obsolete.